I've had multiple cases like this, and in fact, we have a few now. This is not uncommon stuff, but your kid has an IEP. The only thing that sort of was confusing to me is that you referenced 504 at the end. So is it a 504 or is it an IEP? Um, Kids that have an IEP don't need to have a 504 because their 504 protections are automatically included in their IEP. Okay, so that's where I sort of wasn't really getting what you were saying. But if she has an IEP, then yes, we, in situations like this, and let me go ahead and tell you guys the biggest source or the biggest trigger of due process complaints for my office are principals. They continue to be um, very beneficial in how busy the Galini group is. Why is that? Well, because all the states that we currently practice in don't require the principals or the assistant principals to be competent in IDEA or in 504. Um, I think they have to do sort of a glance over. I mean, maybe sit in some seminar, but no, they're not competent in it. And there's a different standard. And so what ends up happening is that they do stupid stuff like this. Mostly this punitive stuff, is. And guys, let me go ahead and tell you this. Public school is supposed to be a therapeutic setting for all of our children. And when I say a therapeutic setting, what I'm saying is that we've all agreed as a society that during these age ranges, let me go ahead and bring it over here, that during these age ranges, we expect kids to make mistakes. All right. This is the period of time where we're, as a society, flexible, understanding, patient with childhood errors. We all made them when we were children. The big difference is that our schools have become far more hostile places, far less forgiving, absolutely not understanding, robbing children of the benefit of what we had of teachable moments. I was in fights sometimes growing up in school from elementary all the way through high school, guys. Now, technically, that would be battery, it would be assault. Okay? Those are crimes. But there's a big difference. I wasn't an adult. So the principal used those opportunities, and they didn't call the cops on me. They didn't have the SRO officer. We didn't have an SRO. So the principal dealt with it in house and played the role that I think the principals should be playing, and that's the righteous judge, to sit there and try to understand the situation, and to understand the situation to know where fault lies, not the zero tolerance to where the face and the fist get the same treatment. Okay, that's not the righteous judge. You got to sit there and insert compassion, understanding. These are teachable moments. So these are environments where our kids should be allowed to screw up to a point without referring them to cops, without treating them all the same as though there wasn't an instigator. We are losing these valuable opportunities to teach our kids. And I think that that's also what's driving parental distrust. And I hear all the time schools are going, well, these parents don't want their kids to have consequences. That's not true, guys. What parents want is they want judicious, fair, they want it to be teachable moments. Don't put them in a position with zero tolerance to where the parents feel like they have to defend their kid. Because I think that the parents are more than agreeable to partner with the school and say, hey, I agree that there should be some consequences. That was stupid. But if you're not making the parent a partner because you're applying zero tolerance policies, or you're referring over to juvenile court for things that quite frankly should be handled in house, to where we're double dosing punishment for kids in this situation, What did it do? If it brought you to the point where you needed to protect your daughter instead of utilizing these opportunities to guide her. And so therefore the system lost another child and lost multiple opportunities to help this parent guide, a future. Okay. Now, do I think it's a world affair to have, a joint in a bathroom? No, I don't. All right. Like I said, I am not going to be a hypocrite about the realities of how life was when, we were all in high school in the 90s or the late 80s. Thank God we didn't have cell phones back then, Now I don't want to paint this picture as though I was, because, there's some kids or people I went to high school with that are on this group, and they'll tell you I was pretty freaking tame. It was not a partier whatsoever. It wasn't my jam back then. So, so I don't want any of them to comment and go, yeah, it wasn't you, Jen. It wasn't me. Now, I would have to agree if anybody wanted to call me sort of a grade A-hole. I probably was that. But anybody watching enough of these videos can sort of see that, in my demeanor. It hasn't changed. It's just now proved to be a benefit in fighting for kids. Okay. So this is one of those things to where you can fix it. We utilize those openings of the child having an IEP or a 504 to go and kick that door open, to sit there and look, because I can already see just from your scenario that there were concerns in the beginning anyway with regards to the tardy situation. Guys, if you send your child to school, your rights transfer in the form of in loco parentis, to where the school becomes the parent and are responsible for your child. So if your child's sloughing, if your child's skipping, if your child's tardy for class, that wasn't on your watch. It was on their watch. So what's going on? So I would be interested in looking to see how they were servicing her through her IEP. And then from that point forward is where the corrective action would come in, to be able to help you with some of these other aspects. Maybe even fix it to the point where you're comfortable and confident to reinsert her back into the public school. All right. But I think that you'd be due some corrective action, regardless. You're within the statute. Now, we don't have any attorneys in Oklahoma. At the same time, please respond, when I notify you that I posted your video response. Sort of provide me an update. I hate to sit there and I stop making commitments. I've done that before, like telling parents, oh, I think I have somebody, getting people's hopes up. Guys, unless I absolutely definitively get a commitment beforehand in a certain state, I'm going to keep my mouth shut, because I've been disappointed in 2 different states, been disappointed that I got commitments, and then when the rubber hit the road, those fell through, and the attorneys that we were hoping would partner with us decided not to. Okay, so I'm not doing that anymore. We're just going to be working to try to find attorneys that will commit in some of these states, and so that the Galini Group way of handling these cases can be replicated in other states.